Good morning, I'm Michael from Mo Monster Gaming, and today I'm going to be looking at Dungeons and Dragons Adventures. I'll be looking at issue number 1 and 2. They're a Hachette Partwork, so they come out weekly. Well, actually there's 2 weeks between these two, but eventually it's going to go to weekly. This first one was only $1.99, which I think is absolutely a bargain. This one was $4.99. I think it's worth it. The content's still good. The later ones are going to be $8.99, which for what you're going to get, I think is a little overpriced. But looking at these two today, I'll go through, and actually I think these two are good. So looking at the first one. So the first one comes with some dice. So set of 7 dice, not bad, for $1.99 included in this. So then we have a book. We have a introduction to combat, and finally we have 4 character sheets for the 4 introductory characters that they talk about in the book. Okay, so let's skip to this. So we'll go to the book first of all. So artwork's great at the front, and then it's terrible at the side, so it all comes apart, so you can store it in a binder, and it's broken down into sections. So we have sage advice for like an overview of D&D. We have character creation, which is super basic, and then we have a little bit about lore, and then finally there is an adventure in the loosest possible sense. It is actually just an encounter, but it's a very good encounter. So flicking through the book, I gave these to my kids, and one of them has read this one cover to cover. She really enjoyed it. It is very basic. It talks a lot about the terminology of what a player is, what a dungeon master is, a little bit about the world of D&D. So nothing, anyone who's already played it, they're not really going to get anything out of it. But for somebody that's brand new or thinking about playing, it hasn't just got history and terminology. It talks about how you decide what you do, talks a little bit about role play, then refers you to how to be successful. You need to roll dice, and it just talks through everything very basically, but also without insulting anyone's intelligence. So I read it and I thought it was very well structured and really easy for anybody who wants to play D&D to pick it up and basically get the gist. Talks about player characters. So here we've got 4 basic ones that they've created for the purpose of the book, and they're often referred to in there, but everything is very logically presented. Everything feels like it makes sense. Talks about ability modifiers in reference to what your ability scores are. Doesn't go too much into species, doesn't go too much into character class, but does, my middle child really liked it, really goes into the packs. And really good pictorial representation of what you get in your equipment pack. So for someone who'd never played it before, she picked up quite a lot out of it. She's not going to play any of these characters, but enough that she wanted to then go and make her own. There's a nice little introduction to Fandolin, and then they call it a quest. It is really just an encounter, but quite a good encounter. And spoilers, it's about rats. So that's the first book. Now, as well as coming with the dice and the character sheets, it also came with this really cool little mini book that was an introduction to combat. It says it talks about surprising your enemies, managing hit points, death saves explained. But actually, it's quite a straightforward how to establish combat. There's a little description of what you can do in combat, hit points and damage, and then an example. And actually, again, while it doesn't treat you like an idiot, it makes really good sense. So for, again, someone who wants to just pick it up and learn a bit of D&D, it's really, really straightforward, which I liked. On to the issue number 2. So this one was $4.99. Comes with the book, comes with yet another set of dice, this time not in a nice tin. And then surprised me, because I didn't realise it was going to come with it, comes with this giant fold-out map. So, nice map of Phandalin and the surrounding area, which is really good because I didn't know it was going to be there. So again, really useful, and it references the location of the next quest, because this book has a encounter/quest. Now, this one, the only thing I will say, I was disappointed it had the exact same front cover as the first one, but this one starts off by talking about advantage, disadvantage, and inspiration. And I said it before, it does it really well. It talks about it in such an easy way, anybody could pick it up and understand. Advantage is rolling extra die. It's what inspiration is. Talks a little about resting, hit dice, and getting your spells back on a long rest and a short rest. Goes into spell casting, which starts to up the complexity, but nothing more than any of the other books do. What I did find disappointing is when it goes into species, it doesn't really talks about humans, don't really tell you much about abilities or anything like that. The rogue, on the other hand, gets a single page for sneak attack. So you still can't use these books for actual character creation, but it does give you, for the characters they've already created and like an overview of the world and how the game works, it's still really useful. So immediately, my middle one now wants to be a rogue, so she can do sneak attacks on people because she read it, which I thought was quite good. She understood the table and looked at the weapons. So then we have a little bit of an overview of Forgotten Realms, and then onto the encounter. This time it's called the Forgotten Vault. Takes place underneath a villa. Spoilers ahead. It's got a couple of monsters, but again, it's memorable. It's a really nicely laid out quest, and again, really useful. So I look forward to running it. I don't think I'm going to collect past the next one. The next one comes with some flat 2D miniatures. I feel like it then starts to get pricey at $8.99, but at $1.99 for the first one with dice and extras, and for $4.99 with this one with map and again dice, I think they're well worth it. And even though I do think the price is ramping up a little bit, I do think that it is exceptionally well written so far. Says it's going to run for 80 issues. I'll be interested to see what they're offering on the later ones. I suppose it doesn't mean I won't dip in and pick it up, but I really did find the 2 encounters worthwhile, and I'm going to run one of them with my family. So thank you very much. I'm just going to quickly show the building. Like the quest enough to go to the trouble of attempting to make Stonehill Inn, and I'm gonna run the encounter as an introduction to my family on how to play. They've previously played Hero Quest, but they've never done D&D, and I think they'll quite enjoy it. But yeah, Thank you very much.